I'd like to go over the syllabus for Finance 475 for the summer of 2019. Just some basic things here. The class is online via Blackboard, but we'll also use Cengage MindTap, and so you'll need access. These are supposed to be the correct ISBN numbers for the textbook with MindTap. So this is the new textbook we're using this year. This will have the new tax law information from the tax change that was made in 2017. Now, it's up to you whether or not to get the hard copy book. You could use an ebook. You could buy a bundle, which has loose leaf as well as MindTap and an ebook. So that's really up to you on that, but you will need Cengage MindTap though. Now, the office hours that I have, these are very flexible. I'm usually in most afternoons. If you see that you're going to come in and it's, you may want to just send me an email. I'll be here or I can meet you here. It's up to you. But just, I put down 1:30 to 4:30 on Wednesday and Thursday. But again, I'm here most afternoons. But please always feel free to contact me, because I want you to be able to meet with me, and we'll discuss anything that we need to discuss about the class at any time. So please always feel free to contact me. Now, I want to go into some basic things here. This part under calculations, you can go into preparing for Finance 475, and what this does is this is in the MindTap part. And this goes into each part of these, each aspect of these different calculators, that you'll probably will use in the class. So make sure to go in and look at this if you have any questions about these different types of calculators. Now, we're also going to use Excel, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. But go to calculations under preparing for Finance 475 to look at some of the aspects of calculators. Now, the one part that we will actually, where you'll take the assignment and submit the assignment in Blackboard, is the critical analysis component. And this will be the only thing that you'll submit via Blackboard. Everything else will be through MindTap, Cengage MindTap. Now, so just keep that in mind. Now, when the grades that are assigned in the class, they're based on points, but they're actually tallied based on a weighted total. And we're going to look at that in just a minute. So everything's going to add up to 100%, but it's based on a weighted total. And the reason I do that is because on some of the problems, there's going to be different numbers. And so we'll just, if we do it as a weighted total, it'll be easier, to keep up with everything. And you'll see what I mean in just a minute. Now, the grade distributions, a typical grade distribution of a 90% or greater is an A, 80 to a 90 is a B, and 70 or greater is a C. Now, in this class, if you're a finance major, you have to have at least a minimum of C in the class. Now, the grade distribution by assignment. If you'll notice, here's the exams. There's 4 exams. Now, each one is 100 points, but each one counts as 13.75%. So really, these points, they don't really matter. It's just a way of looking at it and seeing, well, how well did I do on that particular assignment? So like on this, if you made a 90 out of 100, you'll know you made a 90 on the test. But it counts, each one counts as 13.75% of the total number of points. So you add all 4 exams, and that's 55%. The homework, you'll notice there's different numbers of homework problems. So, and again, this, if you made a 42 out of 42, that's 100% on that. But if you made something like a 21 out of 42, that's 50%. So but the main thing here is you're looking at, it counts as each homework assignment counts as 2.5%. So all the homework is 20% of your total. These foundation exercises, again, there's different numbers, different amounts of points. The thing with this is these are very simple exercises. In fact, these are traditionally in MindTap, they're not counted for credit, but I'm counting these for credit. And this is counted at 50 or 0.5% each, so 4% each. All of these count to 4%. Now you might say, well, that doesn't count as much. Well, no, but you need to do these because these are good practice for us. This is good practice that you'll use in preparing for your exams. Now, the Excel and critical analysis, what we're doing here, each chapter, except chapter 13 on corporate governance, each chapter will have an Excel problem, at least one problem, and there's a critical analysis part here. And what this is again where you submit this through Blackboard, and I'll ask you some questions, and it will pertain back to the Excel problem for these chapters. And then you'll submit this via Blackboard. So again, going in, this is the number of points for each, 10 and 20, and then the percentages. So the total Excel and critical analysis part equals 21% of your total grade. So that adds up to 100% for the total. Now, academic honesty, this is a very important part for this class because this is an online class. So we need to think about the academic honesty and what can happen if there's dishonesty within the class. The university allows the teacher, the instructor, a lot of latitude in determining whether there's dishonesty and even retesting or issuing a 0 or even an F. And so I want you to take it very seriously and make sure to read over this, your expectations for student behavior, because we want to maintain integrity in the classroom. And this is a very important part. And please let me know if you see that there's anything that's, that I need to know about. Now, attendance, there's not an attendance policy, but you're responsible for all material covered and all announcements made. So, again, it's an online class. It takes more discipline when it's an online class. So you need to make sure that you watch and see if there's any announcements made or any material that's covered, or, and even the specific times when things are due. That's very important. Disability accommodations, if there are any kind of disability accommodations that you need even now or during the semester, please let me know and we'll make a reasonable accommodation for you. If you're in the military, contact Office of Veteran Services for the different things that would be helpful to you. Now, the important dates for the semester, classes begin, of course, on May 14th. The Memorial Day holiday is on May 27th. The last day to drop without academic penalty is June 7th, and the last day to drop with academic penalty is June 13th. And June 16th through 18th, that's your final exam period. Now, the course is set up in course modules 1 through 4, and you'll notice that there's 2 chapters, as we discussed, 2 chapters for each module. And so here are those chapters, and here's the chapter title. Now, I want us to look at the different assignments here as well as the assignment schedule. So when we look at these, we need to be very careful with the times when things are open. All the assignments are going to be open from 1 a.m. on the date indicated until 9 p.m. on the date, the close date indicated. Now, this of course is all Central Standard Time, Jacksonville, Alabama time. But when you think about this, make sure on some of the classes that you've had with me, we would close at 11:59 p.m. But this is closing at 9 p.m. And so I'm doing that, to allow some extra time if I need to go back and look at anything. So the assignment schedule. Now, one thing to keep in mind. Make sure to read these times carefully on this assignment schedule and even put it into some type of electronic reminder, because this is going to be important that you keep up with, when these assignments are due. So be sure to do that. Now, if you'll notice each one of the assignments here, we have, the foundation, the homework, Excel, critical analysis, and then the different exams here. And you'll notice when they're open. Now, again, each week is different because it's more or less like a rolling time period that takes us through the entire semester. So, for example, on this Module 1, it opens on Tuesday, May 14th. It closes for the foundation part. It closes on Monday, May 20th. So if you go in on the foundation part and open it on the 14th, you'll have to the 20th to take it. Unlimited time period. You can open it and come back to it. You have 3 attempts on this. Again, this is to help you. It's counted for points, but this is to help you. The homework is the same thing, unlimited with 3 attempts. The Excel problem is the same thing, from May 14th to May 20th, unlimited with 3 attempts. But the critical analysis, it's the same time period, May 14th to May 20th, but you only have 1 attempt. You'll send it in 1 time. And then here's the most important part. Notice on the exam, it's open from May 21st It's on a Tuesday until Wednesday, May 22nd. So May 21st at 1 a.m. to Wednesday, May 22nd at 9 p.m. It's open for 60 minutes. You have one attempt to take it. Okay. Now these are open book, open notes. All right. But again, and going back to the academic honesty policy, I want you working independently on this. Now, so each one of the modules will be the same thing. Okay. But notice that the times, the dates are different on these. Again, it's a rolling time period. So as soon as one stops, so this module closes when this exam closes at 9 p.m. on May 22nd. The next one opens on May 23rd at 1 a.m. Now, there's a few things here that I want to mention. Exam 3. Now, this would be, traditionally, it'd be open just on Saturday and Sunday, but since it was only on the weekend, I've extended Exam 3 instead of closing on Sunday, it'll stay open through Monday. And so there'll be a little bit of overlap here with when Exam 4 or Module 4 opens. Now, notice on Exam 4, which is the final exam, I'm opening in it one day earlier. I'm starting it on Sunday. I know some students like to work on the weekends on assignments, so I'm trying to accommodate that. So on this time, the final exam will be open an extra day. It'll open on Sunday and close on Tuesday. Now, graded assignment components. When we look at these components, again, we're looking at the foundation problems or exercises, homework, Excel problem, critical analysis, and exam. And I go over, each one of these areas a little bit here and talking about it and what they each mean. So make sure that when you're going through and you're looking at the components, when you're looking at what you're graded on, these are the areas, each one of the areas that you'll be graded on: foundation, homework, Excel problem, critical analysis, and exam. And that goes back to what we considered up here on this part. On the grade distribution, you'll see all of these, how the grade distribution works and how you have each one of these assignments. Now, how to prepare for an exam. Now, this is something that's important. Now, notice, again, we're referring back to when we talked about the grade distribution. Exams represent 55% of your course grade, or 13.75% per exam, so it's a very big component here. Now, you really need to refer to the practice, end of chapter practice questions, because these end of chapter questions are going to be a big part of your exam preparation. Use the other exercises that you've done, like the foundation, the homework, Excel problems. Use those, as well as video reviews. Now, the video reviews are going to be available here, for you as well, through MindTap. And I'm also providing some supplemental audio-visual materials that I've developed. So I think that'll be important for you, as well. But the exams are going to be timed. Okay, they're the only assignment that's timed, and you will not be able to go over the 60-minute time limit. So it's more or less forced completion after 60 minutes. If you want to come into my office and take the exam, you can do that, and I'll allow you to do that, and you can go over the time. But please let me know a couple of days before it opens if you want to do that. So you can come into the office and take it, and you'll, I'm not saying how many minutes over you could go, but you can go over without penalty. Otherwise, if you take it on your own, it's 60 minutes and then it submits. Now, the exam problems are based on a mathematical algorithm. And so each student's going to have a different problem, and it's all of it is randomized from a larger randomized question pool. So when you're looking at it, and you're doing these problems, they're based on an algorithm. So the variables change in each one. Now, I reserve the right to change the way we're doing this. Right now I'm saying we won't use a proctor. But if I think that we need to somehow modify exam security at some point, then I'll do that. But it'll be, looking at the integrity of the testing environment and in fairness to each student in the class. So, I want to consider, how it can be helpful, to the entire class. And this disclaimer, all of this is supposed to be correct to the best of my knowledge. But if you see that there's any problem, or any inaccuracies, please let me know, and I'll try to correct those as soon as possible. Thank you very much.